Hey everybody, welcome to today's episode of my Musical Moments series. And today, I've been thinking. And I've been watching a lot of videos of other orchestras playing during the time of Corona, playing in the time of Corona. We're watching orchestras make videos. Lots of orchestras are doing that. They have been a fantastic way for us to get together, to make music together, to connect with our community, and in some cases be a placeholder for the live concerts, which we haven't been able to do. And we've seen so many orchestras sort of, get into this process. And I am incredibly proud of the work that the two orchestras that I am associated with as music director, the Sequoia Symphony and the Adrian Symphony. Incredibly proud of the work that we've done with those orchestras. Sequoias are mostly already out. The Adrian Symphony is still releasing some of theirs, including performance of Peter and the Wolf and Rhapsody in Blue coming up, which really have turned out beautifully well, and incredibly proud of them. But as I watch even our own videos and the videos of other orchestras, it's got me thinking about the role of the musician on stage, conductor and instrumentalist. And this is especially true because of two things. Number one, these videos are really up close and personal. Well, you may not know that one of my very first jobs out of school was working with the Greensboro Symphony in North Carolina. I was the resident conductor there for 8 years, learned a ton from them. It's a great orchestra, wonderful organization, and wonderful people throughout. And one of my jobs there, though, we did concerts at a big pops venue, and they used a lot of cameras. And one of the things that I did as the assistant there was tell the filmmakers, when something was coming up so that they could be on the French horns when the French horns were about to do something, they could be in the cellos when a big cello solo was coming, etc. So before the performance, I would always remind the orchestra, you will be on screen 10 feet tall. And your face will be 10 feet tall. And if you look bored or annoyed, we will see that 10 feet tall. And so we always have a good laugh about that. Or just a little reminder, be like, remember, you are on screen. And, we've all seen performances at summer venues like the Hollywood Bowl, at Tanglewood, at SPAC, all of which I've been involved in performances at those places. And the same thing applies. We try to remind musicians, hey, you might be on screen and you might be very large. But we often catch musicians looking so unengaged. And I do remember one specific summer where there was one situation where a violinist had to play a pizzicato note, sort of in the middle of everything else, bink, and that person truly was captured on camera, and their face was dead inside. And we sort of laughed about it the next day because it was just poorly timed. And I was reminded of that with all these videos that I'm watching with my own orchestras and others, and how difficult it is to engage the audience with a mask on. And I feel that way in the rehearsals and the process with the musicians when I'm trying to elicit this performance. I once had a conducting teacher who said, you conduct with the stick kind of in front of your face because your face is this incredibly emotive tool. And so yes, they'll see the beat and they'll see your line, etc., but they'll also see your face, and it's one of the most expressive things that you have. And when your face is gone as the conductor, when your face is gone as a performer, some of these things that sound beautiful maybe are not as compelling to watch as we might hope. No matter how beautifully these things are filmed, and many of them are beautifully filmed with musicians glowing on stage, very dramatic cinematic lighting, and no matter how great they sound, because, oh my gosh, many of these things sound amazing. But when we have a concert, we're not just executing a piece. We're actually performing it. I have colleagues who once said, well, if all the musicians just play the right note at the right time, with the right articulation and the right dynamic, everything else will take care of itself. It will magically create this whole that we don't need to inform. Now, I'm not sure I actually ever believed that, because I'm a conductor and I'm pretty emotive at times, of course. And watching these videos, though, this year, I'm even more convinced that that is not enough. That we need to be active participants in the storytelling and the creation of sound. And in its recreation and its performance. We certainly expect our popular artists to do that.
They keep on falling from your mind, falling from your mind.
All the time. In fact, if they didn't, we wouldn't really be engaged. But yet we seem to have a different standard for classical musicians. And it's funny because even some popular musicians, when they have like, oh, I'm going to have a little string section on stage back there, like in many cases you see them sort of frozen as if we've kind of dehumanized them. Well, they're string players, they're orchestral musicians, so they should just sit there in their tuxedos, even though no one else is dressed like that. We see that going on. Now, not everybody does it this way. We certainly see some people get their string sections into it, or whatever their backing instrumentalists would do. But I think about it like, if you watch a popular artist have backup singers, they're dancing, they're grooving, they're doing it all by memory, like they're in it. And yet sometimes we don't have that same expectation of our classical instrumentalists, even in those settings. So what do you think? I'm really curious. I want to hear what your thoughts are about asking our performers to do that, because sometimes orchestral musicians don't necessarily want to be part of that expression. Now, and I'm not saying that they should be off the chart either, but how much is fair to ask them to be a part of the storytelling? I've always thought that's the role of the conductor. One of the things we do is not just, oh, that's early, that's late, that's sharp, that's flat, but to get them on the page with sort of this creation of the sound. That is our role as the conductor. But some musicians do not want to do that. Does anyone else feel this way, that seeing these musicians this year up close like this has made you think about that? I don't know, maybe I'm the only one. But I'm sort of excited by the possibilities of what that could mean, like what we have learned this year from this process, and how we can engage our live performances differently. Because sure, some orchestras are talking, hey, what are we going to do with video going forward? That's exciting. But what are we going to do with our live performances going forward? And will they be different because of what we've seen, what we've heard, what we've done and learned to do this year? It's an exciting time. And I wish I had some of these ideas more fully developed. But I'm really curious to hear what you think, so please do let me know in the comments. If you have not done so already, please like this video. And if you have not done so already, please subscribe to this video, and let's have a discussion. I look forward to it.